again, thank you so much for joining our webinar on getting more from your CRM by integrating your phone system, brought to you by BrainSell and Tenfold. Your presenters today are myself, Sonia Friedel, President of BrainSell Technologies, a top partner of Tenfold, and I'm joined today by Leah Black, Channel Manager for Tenfold. Are you there, Leah?
Hey, Sonia. Hey, everybody.
Thank you so much for joining. So Leah and I are going to walk everyone through a brief slide deck, and then we're going to hop into an actual live demo. So a tiny bit, who's BrainSell? Well, we are a trusted technology advisor based in the Boston area, just north of Boston, and we've been at it for over 20 years. What we do is speak to clients all around North America who have various business process issues. We try to analyze those, dissect them, and see how they can be improved and help with technology. So we don't just throw software in. First, we always consider what are the business challenges? Can they be fixed with technology or just process changes? And we're certified and expert in several different technologies that you see there on the right, ranging from marketing and email systems to CRM and accounting and ERP systems, and integrating those as well. And a little bit about Tenfold. Leah, if you'd take that, please.
Yeah. So, hey, everybody. I'm Leah, and want to tell you a little bit about Tenfold. We're based here in Austin, Texas. We have a couple offices throughout the nation, and we are backed by a venture capitalist powerhouse called Andreessen Horowitz. They were also some big early investors in Facebook and Airbnb and Twitter, so really ingrained in the software business. And we integrate with multiple different CRMs and phone systems. So that's where our relationship with BrainSell is really great, because they have access into a lot of different systems, and Tenfold is able to bridge that gap to the phone system.
Great. So I'll just walk us through the agenda, and then Leah's going to lead a lot of the actual demo. We're going to do a live demo after a couple of screenshots here. So agenda, yes, business challenges. We're going to look at what the heck is going on with technology and business today, how we can improve the sales cycle with technology, different integrations with your CRM systems to help that. Again, a live demo, and game changers, talking about some customers, and QA.
Great. So today's business challenges, and we've put that out in the initial invite around the webinar, is around the use of the CRM. CRMs are really powerful tools if they're being used. So, and it's hard when a salesperson is going throughout their day to log every single activity that they're making, especially if they didn't connect with the person or they left a voicemail. But by not capturing that information, there's a lack of insight into the activity by these reps, and also an action taking place from a marketing perspective around the leads that they provide to the team. Everybody has different types of goals and competitions around the sales team specifically on maybe call activity. But the big question to think about is, how many calls does it make for our team to be successful through the day? How many touch points do I need to close a deal and make some revenue from it? And then, because you're not being able to see all of this information around who you're talking to, it gives you a limited visibility into the customer data, because you're not sure that your colleague called them 10 times last week on a new sales order, because you're in support and you're dealing with something different, and you might be using different systems of record. So we're going to talk about how do we get all these different disparate systems of record talking to each other through Tenfold and the phone system, while also meeting the goals of the company to gain more revenue.
Awesome. And yeah, Leah, talk us through some of these, some of these actual numbers. This is fantastic.
Yeah, so Tenfold captures 100% of the calls being made, and we'll tell you a little bit even fun stuff going on in the game changer slide of how we can guarantee that too. But because we are natively integrated into the phone system, we can capture every call that takes place. And that is not just through click to dial. That could be from the dial pad of the desk phone that sits on their desk. And we're capturing every single one of those calls and putting them into the CRM with the duration of that call. So that's allowing then for integrity around the information that you're receiving from your reps. And it also allows them, our floating UI allows them to make 22 to 37% more calls a week. And that's because we have a floating UI that comes across, gives them all the information that would typically take a lot of manual steps. You know, Sonia says it best. She always calls it busy work. The busy work that it takes to find out who you're talking to and capture the information you need to on the call that's being made. I like to talk about a big customer of ours who is Wayfair.com. Wayfair was in the market to double their sales staff to make more calls. They're a big outbounding effort team. And once they inputted Tenfold into their team, they realized they didn't actually need to double the sales team with bodies. They were already doubling the sales calls by taking out that extra work that it was taking each one of their reps to manually log. You know, like them and some other companies, and I mentioned earlier, some of these sales reps, maybe if you're in a contact center or maybe just an aggressive outbounding sales efforts, they are compensated on how many calls they make a day. But what's the quality of those calls? And are they spending enough time actually making the calls, or are they spending too much time logging that call? So another one of our customers is Adobe, and it took them 90 seconds just to figure out who you were. They had to take your name and put it into one system. They had to take your phone number, put it into another system. They had to get your Adobe ID, because we all have that one handy in our wallet, and put it into another system. All while trying to figure out who they're talking to, what their business needs are, and being able to capture a relationship with them. They were losing 90 seconds per call just to know who you were. What if you got that 90 seconds back per call, each day, per rep, per year? What would that equate for you? We also have a lot of cool stuff around marketing where, because we're capturing this information around leads, we're able to give the marketing team a better understanding of where their ROI is best spent and the attribution around those leads. It's not just how many leads did you get from that ad, let's say TV, something generic TV, but did you make revenue off of that? You might have gotten 100 leads from TV and 10 from radio, but everybody from radio bought and only a couple people from the TV did. It now allows you to really have a better view, because we're tapped into the CRM with that tracking of the lead source, to see the full sales cycle. So just a little bit of our CRM integrations here. We have Sugar, NetSuite, Microsoft Dynamics, Salesforce Lightning, Bullhorn, and for some support folks, Zendesk. We also have Desk.com. So this doesn't just scale just to the sales team, but we're focusing in on that today. But we can also reach into the marketing teams and the support team. We support over 200 different phone systems. Couldn't fit all of their logos onto this site here, but you can see some big names that we already have integrations directly into. And if you're not seeing your phone system on here, either reach out to Sonia and her team, or you can also check our website, tenfold.com/integrations.
And Leah, I'll use BrainSell internally as an example. We have a weird kind of copper/VoIP system that we've had for a long time. And when we started working with Tenfold about like 6 years ago, it's been a while, 5 years ago, I said to these guys, no way can you link in with this thing, because we'd tried it a couple other times and we'd used up a lot of valuable engineering time and internal people to try to get these other integrations to work. And it was just absolutely fruitless. I am not a super techie person, and I actually helped configure it, and it was done under an hour. So, and just because it's so browser based and so easy to configure. So I just want to, not have anyone scared away that it's, if you've got a weird system like ours, still talk to us about it, because 9 times out of 10 we can always, usually integrate with it.
Yeah, it's a great point, especially what you bring up with onboarding, and we can touch on it in further meetings, but it's a quick integration, and that's because, again, we integrate natively into the phone system. We're not needing to put anything else on top of that to read this phone event data. So to Sonia's point, it's simple, maybe too simple to some people. They're like, it should be more complex, but because we have this direct integration to all of these phone systems, that's what helps us leverage it in a quick, fast-paced mode. So, we talked a little bit about this over the other slides. Like, what does this all mean to your company individually? Let's say you've merged companies, or you've had a recent acquisition, or even just regularly, marketing's using one tool, sales is using another, and there's a confusion of all these multiple different systems of record on who you're talking to. So on the left-hand side here, we have that customer-facing user who's trying to put all of the information together in one source to know who they're speaking to. But if they don't have all the pieces to the puzzle, then they miss the full understanding of that end customer's needs. We've all been in that situation where we've had to tell one person our information, we've had to tell another person the same information, and it doesn't feel like the message is being translated. And maybe that's because they have different systems and they don't talk to each other. So with Tenfold, we're automating this employee workflow. We're allowing all that information to be in a single UI to have a better instance into who I'm speaking to right at my fingertips immediately in real time. So we're going to go into a live demo next. I do have a couple slides just because we're in demo mode. I want to be able to show it to you in some really cool ways without having any issues. So first I'm going to show you some slides, and then we're going to have Sonia call me, and you guys are going to see exactly what happens, which is going to be great.
Awesome. So
I mentioned it earlier that we have click to dial. Again, though, we are able to capture all the calls from the desk phone if they manually dial it as well. But the click to dial is, it's hyperlinking any phone number on a Chrome web page, and it's turning into that click to dial function. What's really great here, though, is that we dial the user's phone first. We allow them to get ready for the call. We've all been on that line where we're like, hello, 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 and then finally they get to you. This allows them to get situated, get prepared for the call, and actually answer that call when they're ready. Once they answer the call, it goes out. And I'll be able to show you that actually on BrainSell's website, what that looks like. But you can see it confirms with a hover over to call with Tenfold. So there's 3 different things that can happen on an incoming or outgoing call. You can have a no match found. It's the first one we're going to show you here. So on a no match, that means we're taking the phone number, we're scrubbing it up against that CRM. Is there a match? There's not. Maybe it's the first time Sonia's calling me from her cell phone, or it's the first time we're ever speaking at all. I would be able to see right away that it's a no match found, and I can type in the user's name that I'm speaking to. And if I don't have any results, I can simply press create new contact, and it's going to pop me directly into my CRM and take me to the contact record. And I can show you what that looks like. But let's think about what it typically takes to do that today. If we open up our CRM to log a call and they weren't in the system, what do we have to do? We got to go through a couple different steps. We got to log in to the CRM possibly. We've got to search their name. We've got to wait for results, possibly click into the results, or if there's not in there like this, we'd have to press create new contact, enter their name, enter their company, enter their phone number, all while not capturing the duration of the call. And you still have to rely on that user to take notes on that call. So if we can eliminate all of those steps, how much more smooth would their day be in each of those instances?
Yeah, and Leah, sorry to interrupt there, but or people just won't do it. And I think that's what we found internally too, even though we're expert in a lot of these solutions, salespeople are looking for the fastest method, right? And so if finding someone in CRM, creating a note takes a minute or two, they're just not going to do it. And now they will do it. It's easy.
Right. Well, and even if they're not capturing that note, now we're capturing the call. So we already have more information than we did before.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
All right. So what about multiple matches? Maybe they're calling from a phone number that everybody has extensions on, or anything from that side. You can see that it's going to give you a multiple pick list of options, and you can narrow down your results, choose your result, and it takes you directly into our floating UI. Or if they're not there, we would go through the same process of the no match found and just press add new contact. All right, so let's get into this live demo.
Great.
All right, so you can see I'm on the BrainSell website here. I want to just show you the click to dial functionality. And you can see there with the hover over, and it's confirming the call with Tenfold. But why don't we have you, Sonia, why don't you call my desk, and let's see what that really looks like when an incoming call comes in, and I'm on a website researching my my client.
Okay, here we go.
So you can see right away the floating UI comes across the screen. You can hang that up, Sonia. The floating UI comes across the screen, and it's a single match. So we talked about the no match, the multi-match. Here we are in the single match. I see her information immediately. I know who I'm speaking to. She's from BrainSell. The phone number she's calling me on. Is she a contact in my CRM? And I'm able to get up to speed right away. What I want to note here, though, is we didn't pop you into the CRM. You didn't need to be in there. You don't even need to be logged into the CRM for the floating UI to actually work. That's what's really cool. And we can get real tech when you guys follow up with Sonia. Now, it floats across the screen, but let's say I wanted to keep doing some research on BrainSell as Sonia and I were talking. I can just minimize that or even exit out. If I just want to see it again, just easy to come right up in here. So when Sonia and I are talking, without the need to go into the CRM to see what we've previously communicated about or what any of my other colleagues have communicated with her about, I have this activity history pane where I can see all of the previous communication with Sonia, with my company, that is stored in the CRM. Really cool there. But let's say I want to take notes. I've gotten up to speed with her business. I know what she's calling about. I saw the previous communication, but now I want to take notes myself and make sure that I'm capturing this information. So Sonia loves Tenfold, wants to buy more or add more users.
And from my picture, you can tell I like drinking on the water.
Yes, there you go. Well, maybe
so where is that pulling from, Leah? That's pulling from Facebook, right? Or
yeah, so all of these social profiles are actually pulling from the information that you have around the contact. So we have probably Sonia's personal and work email in here, so we're able to pull all of her social profiles around Facebook, Twitter, but one I think is really key is LinkedIn, because now outside of the activity history where I'm getting in tune with their business, maybe I'd like to connect with Sonia on a personal level. Did we go to the same university? Do we have connections in common? And it pops me directly into LinkedIn, and the floating UI comes with us, and I'm able to get up to speed not only on her business needs, but how else we can connect. It's really about that relationship that you're building with these social profiles. Putting a face to the name is something we always talk about.
Yeah, and Leah, also, it just small things like building that relationship. I'm obviously obsessed with horses, and that's a really easy thing to pick up on and connect with. So I will, same thing, like universities, if I had someone that I'm friends with that went there, if I see that their picture involves something that I like as well, I use that, and it really does get to people and makes the conversation different and warmer.
Yeah, I actually got a funny call yesterday from one of our partners telling us that they love the function because they clicked into Facebook and saw that their client was really into Star Wars. And so what they did was they sent them a Star Wars figurine to help in the process. And it really went a long way in the customer relationship building.
Awesome.
And it's those small things where you can go beyond just the business.
Awesome.
So taking notes around the call with Sonia, she wants to add more users, but I want to take a next step. I'm in the moment, I'm taking my note, but then the next action is what's my next step? Well, my next step is she wants to add more users, so I want to follow up with her at a specific point. Maybe she told me when to. So I'm going to use natural language, such as follow up, and next week to create a task for myself in my CRM. Now, if we take that back to finding the contact, being able to create a task for yourself after, creating the contact, logging the call, taking the notes, then creating a task, all of those steps adding up, they sound pretty simple when you just say it like that, but each of the individual steps it takes to get there, that's a lot of time that each person is taking on each call just to be in the moment and prepare for the next step. It's confirming that I'm going to follow up with Sonia next week. And we're going to show you where all this information is stored in the CRM so it makes sense. So let me press save here. My notes have been saved. I'm just going to reload my Salesforce with Sonia in there. And you can see right here, it was an inbound call. Sonia loves Tenfold and wants to add more users. Follow up next week. Here's the duration of the call. But where'd that task go? The task went into open activities. Open activities, let's just reload this. Well, it's not showing there right now for me, of course. Love demos. But right here, it would have the open activity of the new task that would already be in the process for in progress. What's really cool there too, though, is if you actually follow up with that contact with a call, we can recognize that you're following up with them, and we will move that task to completed on behalf of your user. Again, taking out the manual steps. Yeah.
That was incredible for us internally. And by the way, you can either make that a follow-up task or a follow-up call. And we opted internally to have it be a call because we use more call than tasks. And it works incredibly. Like, I had to test it to believe it. But it works awesome. And then just one more note that Leah showed that in Salesforce. Awesome. It works the exact same way in Sugar, NetSuite, Dynamics, all the ones that we showed. So especially in Sugar, because that's what we use internally, but it shows it as exactly as a call record. The notes are in there, and same thing, there's a task or a call scheduled.
Yeah, and that's the great part about Tenfold. The product works the same no matter the CRM, maybe some nuances based on, the segment. It's just where that information is being stored is really the differentiator of per CRM with the product. So let's say my manager needs to know what's going on with Sonia and I. She wants to add more users. She's been a really great partner of ours or client of ours. I want to let my boss know. So I'm going to use the @mention syntax. And a full database of users is presented to me. To narrow my results, I'm just going to pick on myself here. I'm going to type in my name. It's going to narrow my results even further for me. I can choose myself here. and the envelope appears to confirm these notes will be emailed to whom I've chosen. So we talked about in the moment, you take a note. What's my next step? The follow-up. Now it's letting other people know about what was said and done. So all of those different steps that typically take place when you're in a sales process around the call are now being able to be streamlined into one section and following the way that somebody would naturally do this. You can CC multiple people. I'm just going to pick on my other colleague, Cameron. And you can see he comes up, and then I can also CC him on this information as well. What about dispositions? That's a big thing in a lot of the contact information. You want to capture more information around who you're speaking to. The dispositions can be customized by each one of your CRMs, as little as much as you want to see, and you can even make them required. So we talked a little bit about marketing in the beginning. If marketing was able to have their lead source in here and make it required, now each individual will be required to capture where those leads are coming from for marketing to have better reporting around where they should spend their efforts on those leads. So I can easily just say, you know, she's the decision maker, and we connected. And if I press save again, let's just refresh this page. You can see that the status is now open to completed. Call outcome is connected to decision maker. And now I've captured more of that information around the contact that I've been speaking to. I also mentioned she wants to add more users. So I have an opportunity here. I can add a new opportunity straight from the floating UI. I'm going to just click this little briefcase. It's going to press create new opportunity, but should also be mindful of the fact, you know, we mentioned Zendesk earlier. This can be used for support for opening tickets or cases. But when we press create new opportunity, it's going to take me directly into my CRM. It's going to capture the account that Sonia is associated with, and I can start typing in that information around the opportunity. Again, the multiple steps it would typically take for us to get to this point is what Tenfold's helping to eliminate through the day for each one of your customer-facing users. We could also send email templates. These would pop into your Gmail or your Outlook and allow you to still customize the message, but you can have predetermined templates of what those messages may look like if you're kind of speeding through some calls. You can launch an online meeting. We integrate with several different meeting programs. Again, reach out to Sonia on what those are. But it would, how many times have we all been on a phone and said, hey, why don't we just hop on a screen share? Let's just, you know, hash this out. This would launch my screen share on my behalf for me, and it would send her an email with all of the dial-in details. We also have a recent tab, so if we wanted to backtrack through our day and have any information around that conversation, maybe we went through a lot of calls and we didn't have a chance to catch up on our notes, we can go through our recent tab and take notes after the fact. I'm going to jump into our analytics now. All of this information is stored within your CRM. But this is allowing us to have a better understanding of what do these calls look like for the whole team. And you can separate these out by teams, sales versus support, inside sales versus outside sales. But you can put this leaderboard up on a big screen. Everybody can see where they stack amongst their peers for the day. It reloads in real time. And then you can have the healthy competition or gamification amongst their peers. It's telling you how many calls have been made, inbound and outbound, and total talk time, and then placed into a color-coded graph. The dotted line on this color-coded graph is the quality connect rate. So this means you're having a more than a 90-second conversation. You're not just leaving a voicemail. You're getting through the gatekeeper. You're having some sort of meaningful conversation. And because we can capture the duration of the call, we're able to put it into this graph to allow managers to be able to see where should we best put our efforts through the day. When are people mainly not having a better quality of a call? So you can see at 2 p.m. there was a lot of calls sent out, but a low connect rate. So maybe we want to rethink our day. Maybe we want to put that, that power dialing day time, maybe closer to lunchtime or earlier in the day. And actually have maybe some training at that time that we're actually right now putting our best efforts. Or stack our team appropriately. If you're a contact center, how many people do I need in the contact center at a certain time to make the most bang for our buck? This is what this is going to help you see. You can drill it down by day of week. What day is the best for us? The full weeks and the whole month. Let's go back to hour of day, though, and look at each individual. We can go into a user table and look at each of their calls, their total talk time, the average length of their calls. How many times did they take a note in the Tenfold UI? And is it matching into the CRM? So if you're a company that bases your KPIs and bonuses and measurables on each individual into calling current customers, this is going to allow you to see, well, who are they calling if they're not matched 74%, if they're only matched 74% of the time? Are they calling just their cell? Maybe you want to check into everything there. Maybe it's just, she's in a role where she creates new contacts rather than it being, this 99% of calling current contacts. But let's just pick on Eleanor here a little bit. And we can see each of her individual stats. We can see her call volume. We can see her call history, inbound and outbound, calls made, time, length of call, who did they call, and the description of the notes that they wrote. All of this information is stored in the CRM, and we're just pulling it. So are you wondering, do I need to have 2 dashboards to find this information? You can have a tab right in your CRM and see this information there, or you can just now start to pull more robust reports in your CRM that you already have today. Sonia, I was going to go back into the slide. Do you think I missed anything from the demo perspective that you want to talk about?
No, I mean, that's great, Leah. I will say just some commonsensical kind of things that are really exciting are, first of all, I don't know if everyone remembers when caller ID first came out. It was like the most exciting thing. And we know now this is like souped up caller ID for businesses. I know who's calling right away, and my memory by the 5 seconds of viewing this interface right here, the floating UI, before I pick up the phone, I am like completely back in the zone of that client. I remember what we talked about last because I look at the notes there. I remember if there are any opportunities that are outstanding. So I'm like super on top of it now. And we're using the CRM better. There's just no other way to state it except salespeople and even customer support people they get to hate the CRM because it's extra work for them. So this is just such a time saver. And then the analytics, put that up on a big screen in your office. What's a 42-inch TV at Walmart now? Like $300. Pop that up there and then talk about competition. Your sales team should want to be top on that board. And I've even had some clients that do like an iPad giveaway for most notes taken or most matches to CRM records. They'll give an iPad or something. I mean, think for $400 iPad and a $400 TV, I can't think of a better way to get people to use the CRM. So then this has been a huge adoption tool for us and our remote employees too, because they feel like they're part of the loop as well now.
That's a good segue too, because we're going to talk about game changers next. And what are those game changers for Tenfold? Better. Oh, sorry, guys. Just be quicker to go there. What are those game changers? We have a unified view side panel. We're going to show what that looks like. So you can have multiple different systems of record into one UI. It's going to allow that customer or that customer-facing user to be able to see all of those different systems in one segment. We also capture mobile data, and this is just the phone calls. And then we'll talk a little bit about speech analytics. So on a unified view, you might have all these different systems. Like we talked about before, marketing is using one system, sales is using another, recruiting, support, all of these different teams who are using a CRM that's valuable to their needs for their department. But the end customer-facing user doesn't have an insight into all of those different touch points that are important into the communication to allow that person to feel and know that you're in tune with their business needs. This allows you to see what open sales opportunities are there. Are there any support cases? Is there anything going on in billing? Have we put some marketing campaigns out to them? Which ones? Maybe that's why they're calling. From a financial services perspective, we're able to put this accounting information in there for a contact center to have more visibility into all of the information around that contact that they're speaking to. And this is a UI that will come out from the side of the computer screen, and we'll have all of this different information, which is customized into the way that you want to see it, how big each section is, and it can get really nitty-gritty into exactly your needs. This is really cool. This is what's brand new for Tenfold. So you guys are getting to see something that's not even fully out in the market yet. This is going to be really great for those big, large contact centers who need to understand all of these different information. Or if you're a big company that has had an acquisition, you're trying to figure out how do we still let our customers know we're there for them, but merge all of these different systems together. This is where it's going to happen.
Yeah, and Leah, I had kind of a little bit of a different, I mean, yeah, absolutely, that's all valid. I had a little bit of a different takeaway when I saw this for the first time a few months ago too, is that to me, it's data visualization, which is a long word, but visualizing data from other systems, not having to make a super complex integration from SAP into Salesforce or Sugar, and then also risking compliance, perhaps, by having your SAP data stored in the database. So this allows the visualization. Purely we're looking at the account information from SAP when someone calls in, but we're not actually handling that data, deleting it, exporting it, anything like that. So I saw this as like, wow, this is a really low risk, affordable way to link in different systems to a call center without having to do all these crazy integrations, which we've done a lot of before. This will be a much lighter lift.
Yeah, it's a really great point. These customer-facing users that will be using the UI do not need to have access into each of these systems. They might just have access into only one that they typically update with their own information. The data visualization is a great point because this now just allows them to piece the puzzle together. Tenfold also offers a mobile integration. This means with Android or iOS that every single time a call comes in or out, we can capture that call was made and place it into the CRM. This is confirming the 100% capture of phone event data. What we're able to do is even sort out, your personal calls. if you're calling your spouse. They wouldn't be in the CRM. So we're not going to log that call. It's logging against the CRM activity around those contacts, maybe a client that you speak to often, or if you think about this from field or remote reps, they now have an ability to capture all of their calls while they're on the road. We also have voice map. So one of our features is being able to take a call recording that you're using through your provider, either a VR component or part of your phone system. And we're able to take these recordings and offer a clean and clear dashboard for the company to see at scale what is happening inside those conversations. So just like the analytics dashboard that you had seen, it's a version of that, but with offering the transcription, search and flag, and aggregating the listening score. And what's your talk time? Are you talking the most? Is your client talking the most? Are you listening? How many times was there crosstalk, which could be an interruption? And this is a really great training tool for the management to be able to have an insight into what's working in those conversations and maybe what's not. And then that leaderboard for them to be able to tell who's doing this the best.
Great. And one more thing on that, just tiny thing, is it's artificial intelligence, right? So again, when I saw this too, I was like blown away. Like, oh my God, you guys are actually picking apart people's conversations, and you're going to give tips now on how your most successful sales reps or customer service reps make people happy. And that's bonkers. It's crazy to me. And this is a really critical year, I think, for AI and, Watson, all sorts of analytic tools that are going to completely change the game. And Tenfold's an early adopter of that. And it's going to completely change the way that you do business. And I think people on Tenfold are going to have a leg up as far as business goes. It's almost not fair. So pretty cool stuff, Leah. We were really excited to see this.
Yeah, I'm excited to get real deep into this. We said these are game changers, and that's because, to Sonia's point, we know where the AI is going in the world right now, and we want to be a part of it. And we want to be the game changer to show it in a way that you haven't seen before.
Yeah, great.
So who are some of our happy customers? We mentioned Wayfair on the call. We have Adobe, and then some of these customers here as well. But don't hesitate to reach out to Sonia. We have a lot of case studies on different use cases around inbound call centers, outbound call centers, being able to up a customer stat, being able to have that score really high, the NPS score.
Yep.
So Sonia, have there been any questions in the chat box?
We had some on integrations to, is there an integration to SalesLogix or Infor CRM? I know that's been discussed. But again, that question was from Rick. We'll give you a call after, Rick, but I don't think as of yet it's integrated. But yeah, we'll talk to you though. And then on pricing, Tenfold starts at about $25 a user a month. And then there are different versions that go up from there. So we will be following up with some of y'all with phone calls, especially if you had questions. So we'll definitely be in touch, and we'll be able to cover all of that and what versions do what. And I just have, one other point from internal things. We did a quick ROI study on just click to dial alone, and giving the ability for us to click to dial so that the person doesn't actually need to lean over and dial the phone number. Our SDR team is able to save about 7 seconds per dial. And my gosh, I don't have the exact numbers here, but that ended up being a tens of thousands of dollars savings over a year, just 7 seconds. If you spread that out over 50 calls a day times multiple people, you can imagine that. And that's just clicking to dial. That's not including the notes and the clicks that they have to take in CRM, which takes about 30 seconds to find someone in CRM. So the ROI for us for using this tool was tens of thousands of dollars, right away in the first month. We were able to absolutely recoup the cost within a couple months. So pretty cool, and really easy to install, and awesome customer support, which I have to give you a shout out for that. Leah, you guys are really, on the ball for customer support. So
Great.
Thank you very much. So guys, that's going to conclude it. We like to keep these webinars really under an hour for sure, so you can get back to your day. We appreciate you checking this out. Again, we'll send you the recording, and we'll give people a phone call just to close the loop. So Leah, thank you so much for your time today. We love the tool, and we thank you for your time.
Thanks, everyone. Look forward to talking to you.
Bye-bye, Leah.